Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Ret Conversations. My name is Josh Wafta, a.k.a. Fallout Fury. And my lovely co-host, Leia Cameron, is here with us. Leia, are you excited for today?
That isn't maybe a word I would use.
Excited?
It's not awesome. The first word that comes to mind.
And a previous guest on Graphically Novel, first time on Ret Conversations, we have Meredith Gerber with us.
Hello.
Hello, Meredith. Are you excited today to learn about the death of Superman?
Excited is a adjective that is used in the English language, correct?
Okay. So,
super happy to be here today, everyone.
Yes, we're all high energy and just super excited.
It's Sunday. It's Easter. It's all
it
of
is
us
also, we are discussing the death and resurrection of our Lord and Savior, Superman, on this The Most Holy.
Yes,
day.
yeah.
Okay.
I do not think this was intentional.
No, it was certainly not. It just really worked out that way. Yes, it reminds me of a story of one time someone tricked me into a Catholic wedding. I don't go to Catholic weddings forever. But I'd never really been in the Catholic Church, and I was very focused on they had the ascending Jesus in the background, and I was Church of Superman Jesus, and like people I was sitting with were like, nope, shut it down, do not.
Nope.
Yeah, but by the end of the ceremony, since I had 2.5 hours to myself, I had created the entire religion of Superman Jesus, and I was very happy to explain it to people later.
Oh my goodness!
So,
that's a separate podcast.
It is. Subscribe to my newsletter. So, for people who have not listened to the show, this is how we will play. Today, we have Professor L. Leia doing the full deep dive explanation of the storyline of the death. We're not doing the reign of Superman or the resurrection. Maybe down the line, if there's somebody else that wants us to explain that, or maybe Meredith will suddenly be interested in this and we'll have her back to run through the rest of the omnibus that I have sitting next to me. That is, it's big. So while Leia is explaining the plot to Meredith has the full power and permission to stop the show in its tracks at any point and ask any question that she deems appropriate. She could ask, hey, who is that? She could ask, is there some background I'm missing on this? Or she could just throw up her hands and yell, what the fuck, really loudly. Her husband, Mike Tomczak, has been on the show, and that was about half of what he was doing.
Great.
Well, there were also times where he was just yelling, fuck you, at Leia and Puffy. So...
Yes, I do have to stress too, and I'm sure your audience know this, but if I'm ever like, no, fuck you, it is not a hit on Leia or Josh. I love them very much. I'm buckled in. I'm in.
Okay.
I can't avoid it. I can't talk about something else to fill up the hour so that we forget to talk about it. And also, full disclosure for our audience is my DC knowledge is very, very, very limited. I'm more of a Marvel fan, so there will probably be a lot of wait, who's that? Because I only know Superman, and that's it. Yeah, full stop. That's it. I was
totally understand.
And Lex Luthor. I know Lex Luthor.
Okay,
good, because he'll come up.
Yeah, I know Lex Luthor. I know that's the things I know about Superman are he's allergic to kryptonite. I almost said vibranium. See, this is what I'm talking about. With my Marvel brain. He's allergic to kryptonite. He is basically invincible. Otherwise, he's in the Justice League. His arch nemesis is Lex Luthor. And that is about it. That's my extent. I know that he has because I think we talked about it on the last podcast that I was on, is that he has a really in-depth story and it's moving and motivational and emotional and etc., which I believe you 100%, and that is all I know.
All right. So at any of the point that you ask any of these questions, since Leia is doing the deep dive explanation, I will be the person to answer, and hopefully the notes that I have are written and cover it. We'll see. I am also not the greatest when it comes to DC. Most of my knowledge is all of CW, so we'll see how far that gets us. Which, by the way, the Superman CW show is actually pretty good.
I've heard good
all
things.
right, we're all buckled in and we're ready to go.
I guess.
Yes. So
I guess.
to complete the trifecta, I also am pretty notoriously well known for not knowing jack shit about DC. So I need anybody out there who's listening who is a DC fan to preemptively forgive me if they disagree with my interpretation or my account of events in the series. I'm doing my absolute best trying to explain this when I understand very little of it myself, but I am doing my best.
As a note, this is the only DC storyline that we're doing. It was the only one that we wish to do.
Yes.
Going forward in seasons, we will have a more balanced list that we will present to the guests, and they will choose a storyline. So I've been deep diving to find a lot more DC content. So hopefully, past this season, we will have more balanced Marvel DC.
Excellent. Yeah, the only DC that I am really familiar with is, hilariously enough, anything that Tom King has written. So if anybody would like me to explain Mr. Miracle or Strange Adventures to them, I can absolutely do that because I enjoy the shit out of those. But if Tom King has not written them, I have not read it. That's pretty much how that's going to go. Previous to this, the only Superman story I had ever read actually was Up in the Sky, the arc by Tom King. So that it was my entry point to Superman, to give you an indication of my knowledge here. All right. Okay, here we go. So the Death of Superman story is really long. First of all, it covers 3 arcs. The arcs are the Doomsday, and then Funeral for a Friend and Reign of the Supermen. Today, I'm only going up to the actual Death of Superman, which is the end of the Doomsday arc. This is, again, because the series is very long. We may cover the other 2 later, but we're not going to do it today because we don't have infinite time.
Yeah, and Leia has to come over here, actually.
Yes.
Because Leia's a part of my quarantine bubble, and we have to have dinner at some point. So
yes, it's Sunday fun day.
Saturday, Monday.
So, all right. So the series opens with literally 5 pages of punching. No, really. Doomsday punches himself out of an underground bunker. Inexplicably, when he emerges from this bunker, he has one hand tied behind his back with a metal rope or cable. There is zero explanation for this given at all. This is just how he comes out of this underground bunker that he is in. Okay. He's wearing a weird black bodysuit thing, and he kind of looks like a weird mummy creature almost. It's kind of hard to describe. It looks like he's wearing like a garbage bag. Meanwhile, back in Metropolis, a young boy is buying glow-in-the-dark paint and says he's using it to go after monsters. It is revealed that he is living in an orphanage, and the kid has the belief that monsters in the sewers have told him that they have his mom and they'll kill her if he tells anyone that they want to make war on the city. The kid isn't sure if they're telling the truth or not, but he's determined to save her just in case they are.
Okay.
So he uses the glow-in-the-dark paint to tag the sewer tunnels so he doesn't get lost, which is actually kind of brilliant.
Fair. Okay, so that's the first good point you've told me so far.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's got deep Sarah in the Labyrinth vibes.
Ooh.
Yes. Yeah, very much so.
I'm into it.
Except without the little guys going.
So meanwhile, some weird mutant looking things, which are the monsters in question, are taking over a power station in order to steal electricity. Meanwhile, back at the Daily Planet, Lois Lane is checking the mail and sees a note from an anonymous friend that tells her to send Superman to the basement under the power station because Metropolis is in danger. This story, I need to point out, was written in 1992. So it is a huge deal that Lois's next move is to send Clark Kent an email. She is a high-tech lady. Everybody is like super impressed by her ability to send an email at the Daily Planet. It's adorable.
All right.
Meanwhile,
the 90s.
The 90s were a crazy time.
Yeah, 90s were all the time.
Meanwhile, Doomsday, who is now fully out of the bunker, is enjoying nature by destroying it. He's out there smashing trees for no reason. Literally, he extends his hand, a bird lands on it, and he just crushes it in his hand and laughs about it. He's kind of a jack. Okay. Meanwhile, back in Metropolis, Superman is looking for underworlders that are on the surface to no avail. These are the aforementioned monsters that are taking over the power station. But he can't find them, so he just goes to his day job, as we all would, I suppose.
All right.
To jump in here, because it will come up, they do have names, these monsters. They are all part of the Underworlders, which Leia said. All of them were created in a lab for ? Profit. for reasons. Their names are Clawster, Clawster. His powers are he's invulnerable, he has super strength, and there is Katana, who has hypnosis and also has claws.
Okay.
Rambo, this is a goat person, so his name is literally Rambeo. Rambo.
That's a choice. Okay.
Yep. Curly, which is KRL''Li. He basically looks like a giant version of Curly from the Three Stooges, mixed with the Blob. And Warworlder, who I could find absolutely nothing on anywhere on the.
Same here. I also was like, I don't know who this is or where he came from, but he apparently came from the war world. This will come up again later.
And they are all with random, complete human who we will learn is Homeless Charlie.
He sure is.
They just got a homeless dude hanging out with them.
Yep. Yeah. Homeless guy. It's kind of implied, but never outright stated that he like just kind of came across them in like the sewers and just decided to chill with them.
It was like, hey guys, can I join you?
And then they were like, sure, man, you can hang. And that's how their story begins.
Kind of like when like a fourth grader finds a bunch of high schoolers playing basketball and is like, can I hang out with you guys? And they're like, sure, little dude.
Yeah, pretty
like
much.
Yeah,
pretty much. So Superman goes to his day job, and shortly arriving at the Daily Planet, the power goes out.
Okay.
The Underworlders have obviously succeeded in stealing the power, but not to worry, Lois Lane is on the case. She breaks into the power station and discovers a sort of tunnel-looking thing. But before she can get any farther, she's accosted and taken into the custody of Homeless Charlie, who is obviously buddies with these Underworlders. And as they're leading her away, they mention that they don't take prisoners and she'll surely be dead within the hour. Meanwhile, the aforementioned kid is looking on hidden and realizes that these dudes have lied to him so that he wouldn't talk, which makes him very sad because he wanted to meet his mother. I do not know what this kid's deal is, but I feel terribly for him. So he decides
there is literally a line of, if I had just rescued her from monsters, maybe she would love me.
Yeah, it's very, very sad. So let's see here. So he decides his only recourse at this point, this is now beyond this young child's pay grade. So he decides that he's going to tell Superman what's going on.
Does he have Superman's email?
He does not have Superman's email. He is living in an orphanage. So this is in the 90s, and the orphanage that I grew up in did not have computers.
Cool.
I did not grow up in an orphanage.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
So what he does do is he decides to take the glow-in-the-dark paint that he bought earlier to paint a big S on the ground, kind of like a reverse bat signal. And Superman, I guess, sees it and arrives. And the first thing he does, which is really
Time out.
Time out.
So he doesn't respond to emails, but will respond to paint on the ground.
Yes,
so,
absolutely.
Yes, this kid is basically, I've got this spray paint. I'm going to go to this basketball court. And he actually says to himself in kid logic, this is very little fear shit. He says, Batman, I've heard, has a signal that's shown in the sky. We need Batman. So I'm going to do the same thing for Superman on the ground and just draws his symbol, like super huge off the basketball court. And Superman, like, his flying is like, hey, that's my signal. And goes straight down. It's like, hey, Kevin, or whatever the kid's name is.
Okay.
Keith. The kid's name we learn is Keith. And the first thing Superman does when he sees him, which is actually peak Superman, is he gives this kid a hug, which is actually really nice. He does need a hug. I worry about Keith. Does Keith ever show up again?
Keith was a character before this, and I believe is a character past it. I don't know if he ever was a superhero or anything, but
I just hope everything works out for him. Like, I was very concerned about
after this scene. They're like, okay, well, fuck off, Keith. Bye.
Right. I hope he gets adopted into a loving home. I hope that he
what happens to Keith? Like, screw Superman right now. Like, what is going on with Keith?
After this scene, we don't see Keith again, unfortunately. But I do wish him well. If someone could just pass along the message.
Okay, great.
He is eventually adopted by Perry White and his wife Al.
Barry White.
Perry White.
Oh.
Perry, like, where's Perry?
The head editor of the Daily Planet.
Oh, okay, all right. So things do work
Great
out.
shades of Elvis, Perry White.
Okay, gotcha. All right, cool. Okay, so yeah,
his mother died of AIDS, by the way.
Oh no! Oh God!
Jeez.
90s.
Oh man! All right, yeah, that's okay. So, so Superman shows up. Sweet Keith tells him what's going on. In the underground, the underworlders now they have a borer, like a big underground tunnel machine. And I guess their plan is to use it to tunnel up to the surface and take over Metropolis. But of course, this boring machine is no match for Superman, who immediately shows up and just kind of pushes it back into the hole from whence it came.
Okay.
And then begins to fight with the underworlders. He does mention here that the underworlders have quote unquote war world weapons / tech, and that the boss seems to be a war world escapee, or his name is War World, or it's very brief.
Okay.
But he kind of looks like a very squashed alien.
Okay.
He's quickly apprehended. Their plan wasn't thought through all the way. And Superman, puts an end to that. In the meantime, we cut back to Doomsday, who has emerged in some sort of small town where he destroys a bridge. Because that's just this is going to happen a lot.
All right.
He also, for some reason, hates trucks that look like Optimus Prime.
Yes. I actually have. Well, we're going to get to that in a second. Actually, multiple times we're going to get back to that.
Yeah.
So Superman rescues Lois and is about to punch out this homeless Charlie fellow. But it turns out that homeless Charlie was really an undercover informant for Lois all along. There's actually a really excellent panel here where Lois kicks Supes right in the ass, and it's really endearing. I like Lois Lane. So the underworlders are sent back to the underworld to be tried and imprisoned by their home people, I guess. And Charlie is offered a job by Lois as an underworld correspondent because he does not want to return to like normal, like human surface life. He wants to continue to chill with his newfound friends he found on the basketball court. Cut back to Doomsday again, and he is, as Josh mentioned, fighting Optimus Prime somewhere in Ohio. Optimus Prime loses.
Yeah, this is literally just a truck that for no reason looks exactly like Optimus.
Yeah, I was laughing when I was reading this because I was like, why is Optimus Prime here? He has no business
right
here. So another trucker witnesses this incident and notifies the state troopers that some big ass weirdo is punching trucks with one hand tied behind his back. Justice League America at that point then gets wind of this because it's going over like police dispatch and whatnot, and they're like, this sounds like a case for us. So they decide to head out and see what the hell's going on. The Justice League America at this point, and I genuinely do not know if it's one of those things like with the Avengers where sometimes people are in and sometimes people are out, and whatever. But the JLA at this time consists of Booster Gold, which I think is a kind of potato you can get at Aldi. Maxima, who I thought was Jean Grey at first, was very confused by that. The Blue Beetle, who is blue and drives a beetle. And
that's descriptive.
Literally, it's like a little ship that looks like a beetle. I'm not making it up.
It's true. You want me to take who all these people are?
And then there's Ice and Fire, whose powers are exactly what it says on the tin. And then Bloodwind. Bloodwind is BLOODWYND.
Why? Why does it have to be complicated?
Okay, stop. Thank you for asking questions.
Sorry, here's my threshold now is like okay, I guess like fight Optimus Prime, that's fine. I guess cool, this guy gets a job being an underworld correspondent, which that would make sense, sort of. Okay, but like, why are we making up these like ridiculous names with 8,000 misspellings? 8,000 spellings.
It's the 90s. You're really just lucky that there's no thrown in there. But B, so it is kind of like the Avengers where people come and people go. But at this particular point in DC history, this is like, for my birthday, I had saved up a bunch of money, but couldn't afford the JLA. And then I saw that Wish.com had the JLA. And so I'm like, I'm going to order the JLA through Wish.com. And this is the fucking team that showed up.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So it's the witch.com team. Okay.
yes.
Yes.
Maxima,
I genuinely had not heard of any of these people except for Booster Gold prior to reading this.
Maxima is an alien. Her entire purpose for being on Earth is she's looking for a mate. So she's thirsty alien. And she has psionic powers.
Fucking, of course.
Booster Gold is actually one of my favorites from DC. He's from the 25th century. He just basically stole some tech that time traveled to when he showed up in the 80s and saved President Reagan very publicly. So they made him a superhero. And so that's his whole thing. He's basically a fraud.
That didn't age well.
Yeah. Bloodwind is a descendant of slaves, and the slaves had come together and created an item called the blood gem that they then used to overthrow their white masters. The blood gem was then passed through the generations, and so this is the current incarnation of Bloodwind, who has this blood gem that basically is a MacGuffin that gives him magical abilities.
Yeah, like my notes on this literally say that I may have once LARPed with this guy.
Yes. Yeah, no, this guy is Tremere to the
yeah, he's peak 90s sort of vampire-esque character.
I'm so tired. Tired.
Yeah, there's more to go.
We're not even starting yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Blue Beetle literally gets his powers from a magic scarab. Ice is a princess of magic-wielding Norsemen.
Okay.
And finally, Fire is a Brazilian showgirl spy who was in an accident and got pyroplasm. So her power is literally she can shoot fire up to 8 inches away out of her mouth.
Okay, yeah. So can most.
This is the Justice League of this day.
Yes. And like all of this is aged terribly, by the way.
Go on. All right.
So these folks show up and start to try and track down this mysterious truck puncher. There's also a subplot here that kind of recurs a little bit where Booster Gold is trying to find out the true identity of Bloodwind. It is not revealed during this arc, but there are a couple times where it's stated that Bloodwind may actually be someone else. We don't know who. It's never resolved in this arc. I have no earthly idea. Meanwhile, Maxima's using her psychic powers to locate Doomsday, who is once again fucking up nature like nobody's business. There's another really excellent series of panels here where, completely apropos of nothing, he approaches a deer, snaps its neck, and then yeets it into the sky.
What? Why?
It hits the Beetle mobile or whatever the fuck it's called. This flying beetle that's in the air that everybody's traveling in. And causes it to crash. So like he's just sitting outside, just fucking up nature, sees a deer, throws it into the air, and it hits this giant flying beetle. Nobody dies though. It's fine. Apparently Maxima also has like magneto powers and manages to lower the ship to the ground safely so that nobody is hurt and it doesn't crash. But is definitely out of commission. If you've ever hit a car with a deer, I guess it's kind of like that. Except this time the deer was hitting this beetle.
Okay.
So while all this is happening,
so the deer is not okay.
No, the deer's dead.
The deer is quite dead.
Right.
The deer is quite dead. It has had its neck snapped and it has gone like almost completely through the front end.
I wouldn't put it past that they would take the deer and have it join the Wish.com Justice League.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying, like...
Crypto didn't answer our emails, dead deer, so here, we'll put a cape on you.
So while all this is going on, Superman is being interviewed on TV in like a sort of, I guess, like Ellen-like daytime talk show situation. It's a pretty bland interview. Superman is just kind of answering softball questions and whatnot. But he does mention that one of his greatest fear is that of failure and hurting the innocent. And he does mention that there are beings out there that are powerful enough to kill him. He doesn't like violence, but sometimes it's a necessary means to an end if it means that it protects the greater good. The foreshadowing here is very heavy-handed.
Okay.
So now we cut back to Doomsday, who is back to fucking up trucks. It is unclear what his beef is with trucks or the highway system in general, because he keeps destroying bridges and trucks.
And why, in particular, all of the trucks that he hates look like option to drive?
Yeah, it's very strange. It is never explained why he hates trucks so badly. I don't know if a truck hit his mother or what, but he's very unhappy with automobiles in general. So he comes across a Lex oil refinery, which I assume is a refinery owned by Lex
Luthor.
Is it Lex
anything that has Lex in front of it?
Okay,
is going to be owned by Lex Corp. Because later we're going to have a Walmart knockoff that is
yes. Yeah, so he comes across this refinery and starts fucking shit up again. The Justice League of America shows up, but he absolutely fucking creams these folks. Like it is, I mean, they're kind of jokes as it is, but I mean, he really sticks it to them. He very nearly kills the Blue Beetle, like literally puts him into a fucking coma, and just starts creaming on the rest of them. The news now, of course, has picked up the fight at the refinery, and so Superman hears of this during his interview and is like, my home planet needs me, and just leaves. He poochies out of there. He is deeply concerned that the entire Justice League of America can't seem to do shit to this guy, although he's giving them a lot of credit, in my opinion. Maximus manages to get Blue Beetle to safety while everybody else keeps attempting to attack Doomsday. Meanwhile, in a nearby housing development, an asshole kid comes home to verbally abuse a single struggling mother and infant sister, only to be interrupted by Doomsday and the JLA crashing on through their row house. This kid is such an obnoxious piece of shit that he's basically cheering on Doomsday the entire time because teens are pricks.
Yep. Yeah, there's
really
literally
this
like
garbage.
Does this fucking teen become a villain and fucking snap tears next? Like what?
No, he's just a piece of shit human being.
Yeah,
it's like coming home on his skateboard, being like, "Oh, I have to go to mom's house. I can't believe whatever she did for dad to leave." And then like he comes in, there's no soda in the fridge. He's like, "Why can't you buy soda? Dad always has soda in his brand new apartment."
Yeah, like, this must be why Dad left you. Like, he is garbage. He is hot garbage.
He basically says, "No wonder Dad wants a divorce from you." Like,
oh my god, why? Okay, cool.
And like the mom is super nice too. Like he comes in and she's like, "Hi, sweetie, how was your day? Did you do well in your algebra test?" And he's basically like, "Fuck you, mom." Like it is again kind of peak 90s in its like depiction of this asshole kid.
All I wanted was a Pepsi.
Right. Pretty much.
All right, that's a fucking choice. Go on.
So he's in the middle of verbally abusing his mother when the Justice League of America comes through the window and through the house. And Superman finally arrives on the scene, and Doomsday literally punches him like through the house, like all the way through the house. This poor woman, her infant daughter, and her asshole son are all kind of trapped in the rubble as the Justice League and Superman attempt to combine their powers with Superman and take down Doomsday.
Okay.
Of course, it does not work. Doomsday is not only super strong, but super fast and apparently unstoppable. Meanwhile, back in the collapsed house, a fire that had started when the house was half destroyed gets close to a busted gas line and explodes. The whole house catches on fire, and the kid and his mom and her sister are like trapped inside this burning building. This is when the asshole kid suddenly changes his entire ass tune about Superman and starts calling him for help. Superman, meanwhile, is busy trying to get Doomsday like away from there. He can hear the kid because he's got super hearing, and has a bit of an internal debate about whether or not he should go back to help them or just focus on getting Doomsday the fuck out of there as soon and as fast as possible. Because he's Superman, he eventually does choose to go back after taking Doomsday and essentially slamming him deep into the silt of a river, hoping that it'll slow him down. I honestly don't think he should have gone after this kid. This kid seems like he was only going to get into like injecting weed drugs and doing crimes later in life. But he does save them.
He really goes back to save them.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I mean, like the kid was just kind of there and he's like, fine, I guess.
The other important part of this is that Superman has figured out that Doomsday cannot fly. That he has to push off of something, and that's why he sticks him in river silts to basically be like, "All right, get out of that, fucker. I'll be back."
Yeah, he can't fly, but he can like make really big, long leaps, essentially.
Speed of sound.
Yes, so he's extremely fast. Police, fire, and EMS show up to handle the civilians and the injured superheroes, and Superman is now on his own. A helicopter armed with missiles shows up to try to take down Doomsday, but it also fails.
Does he break the missiles next too?
No, what
No.
actually happens is that Superman starts catching the missiles out of the air and just chucking them at Doomsday.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So that's not productive.
Yeah. So they continue their fight all the way through a police station. Like they just completely wreck up this small town police station. And take down another helicopter while they're at it. Back in Metropolis, Lois Lane is grabbing Jimmy Olsen to give him the DL on the situation. And Jimmy Olsen is Superman's best friend, and it's my understanding that he's kind of a weird dude.
All right, like weird how?
Well, so at the time that Lois grabs him, he is taping the Turtle Boy show at the time and is dressed up like a Great Value brand Ninja Turtle. There was no other context given. I have no idea.
I've LARPed with that guy before. Go ahead.
Yep. Oh, Turtle Man.
Yes. So Doomsday is on the news anchors talking about how Doomsday is on a rampage from Ohio to New York, headed on a course straight to Metropolis. Of course, this is the first time, by the way, that it is mentioned that Doomsday has just emerged from some underground bunker in Ohio, because of course it's in fucking Ohio. So yeah, he's covered quite a lot of ground so far.
Is he still wearing a garbage bag?
Partially. So the garbage bag suit thing that he's wearing is kind of starting to shred a little bit at this point, but he's still mostly wearing it. Okay, so at this point now we cut to Supergirl, who is hanging out with Lex Luthor, except Lex has long, luxurious red hair and a beard, and I guess they're banging. I was informed by Josh yesterday that this Lex is apparently a clone, which I thought we were fucking done with clones.
Wait. Stop. So Lex Luthor cloned himself?
Yes, he actually has several clones, but this one is the most developed one and has all the members of the original Lex and has hair, but also has passed himself off as Lex Luthor's son after Lex Luthor's original body died, so that he could basically inherit his own ship and not be held guilty for any of his crimes.
And Supergirl is banging Lex Luthor to Electric Boogaloo.
Yes.
Yeah, that whole thing is mostly because he cloned her as well. She is also cloned.
So she's not...
and kind of controls her. Like, they have a very master-servant relationship.
Yeah, so it becomes very apparent through this. Well, we'll get to that. So she's hanging out with Lex Luthor, and she's like, maybe I should go help Superman, and Lex is like, no, baby, you just stay here. Like, let's just hang out and maybe think about like what we could do in case it does come here and gets real bad. But like Superman's on it, he'll be fine. So she's like, okay, baby, and that's it. So yeah, it's kind of like this weird, like she wanted his permission. She's Supergirl, and she wanted his permission to go help Superman. Real fucked up. Not a fan.
And he specifically brings up a previous situation where she ran off without his permission. He's like, you don't want to do that again, do you?
And she's like, no, I guess I don't. Haha. This is very weird. I thought better of Supergirl prior to this.
I also thought better of any. Jeez. Okay, how does this matter to the story?
It will come into play a little bit later on.
Okay, I'm glad that it's not just like, okay, Supergirl's banging Lex
It's
Luthor
not just like
Boogaloo.
Yeah, it's not just like
he's also super possessive. Yeah, and he's also super possessive. And like, that's it. Like, we just wanted to let everybody know that they're doing
in
fine.
case anybody was wondering where Supergirl was, she was hanging out with Lex Luthor. But yeah, so back on the ground, Maxima from the Justice League has reappeared, and she and Superman try to double team Doomsday, who's still got like a major beef with trucks. At this point, the truck destruction count is like 10. I'm not making this up at all. Like, he just, any truck he sees, he fucks up.
Do they ever reveal
his beef with trucks? No.
Okay. I didn't know if like maybe like Josh could pipe in and say like maybe there's an arc where it's, you know, Doomsday
part of his tragic backstory.
Yeah, like Optimus Prime like ran off with his mom. Like, I don't know.
His father was a truck and abandoned him at a young age. Like, yeah, no, like, I don't fucking no explanation.
You said you went out for smokes.
Oh, that's not funny.
Yeah, it is.
It is hilarious. Okay. So truck count is at 10.
So
now we're
truck count is about 10. And just for good measure, they explode a truck stop. So like a whole truck stop with many trucks. And now Guardian shows up. Josh, can you give us a little bit of background on Guardian?
I can. So Guardian was a cop that proved several things in the DC universe. He's 100% mortal, just regular dude. He has a shield. So he's like DC's Captain America without a super soldier serum. And he's the head of security for Cadmus Labs, the aforementioned laboratory that created all these monsters. And possibly Doom.
Okay, so he shows up out of nowhere. Maxima, meanwhile, has been concussed by this blast. Doomsday fucks up yet another truck on his way across the country, just
11.
for good measure.
11.
And then a bridge. So we're at 11 trucks and 2 bridges. He comes across a guy who's like kicking it in his sedan, like who was about to like drive underneath this bridge, and of course the bridge collapses and Doomsday walks out and sees the sedan. He does not necessarily have as much of a beef with sedans as he does with trucks, so he picks up the sedan and throws it just into the air, like as hard as he can. So he just yeets this sedan into the air, and it's like flying through the air, and the guy is real calm about it. Like he's like, I must be dreaming. Cool.
He has a complete disassociation with reality.
Yeah. It's like several pages of this guy just being like, all right, this is just happening to me. Like, but it's not real. It's fine. And then the sedan fortunately is caught by Superman, who was like, hey, what are you doing up here? and puts him back down on the ground. So Doomsday, meanwhile, completely unconcerned with everyday low values, is fucking up the Lexmart, which I guess is like a Walmart in the DCU. So this is my favorite part of the whole story. This is the part that I enjoyed the most, because once Doomsday goes into the Lexmart, he catches a wrestler cutting a promo on the television in an electronics section for an upcoming event called War Bash 9 being held at the Metropolis Arena. Doomsday is completely transfixed and completely inspired. Here is an event that promotes that promises tag teams, steel cages, grudge matches, tables, ladders, chairs, fire, punching, violence, blood, and a wrestler named Ugly Ben Studley. Who amongst us could not say that we would not want to attend this magnificent spectacle as well?
Hell yeah.
This is incredible. Like, previous to this, we have gotten zero indication that Doomsday even speaks English or has any conscious thought, like, other than just like destroy. But he is transfixed by this pro wrestling promo. And I mean, haven't we all been there?
I guess.
This was so enjoyable. I took a lot of delight in this. As somebody who occasionally watches wrestling, I was like, yeah, big mood, my friend. So he decides that he is going to head to Metropolis. I assume that he is heading to Metropolis, and this theory has not shaken me even through the continuation of the arc. I think he just really wanted to go to this wrestling event. I don't necessarily think that he wanted to destroy everything. I think that he just wanted to go see this show.
He heard AEW was a thing, and that there was a promotion without Vince. And he was super excited, like we all are.
He was marking out.
Yes.
He was
yes,
in fact marking out.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
the only
Jericho-
wrestling term I know, and so when I can use it appropriately, I will yell it from.
No,
every
actually,
corner
you
of the world.
used, not only did you use it appropriately, but that was very funny.
Yeah. It's true. He heard that Jericho was signing autograph.
So the marked out Doomsday starts to head to Metropolis, and Superman catches up with them again. They take out a fast food restaurant, a bus, some farms, and a giant hill. The hill is actually the secret base of the Cadmus Project, which houses a tree city called Habitat. It is connected with the aforementioned Guardian, and so this tree city. There's like I kind of struggled with this because there's really not a lot of context in the actual comic itself. It's abandoned, which is fine. I mean, nobody's getting hurt, but there's no explanation as to why this big tree city is abandoned. It just is. It's just hanging out there.
It was a failed experiment.
Oh, okay. That makes more sense. So they're just kind of smashing around in there for a while until Guardian shows back up. And they continue to, get on with the punching until the Tree City kind of collapses on the three of them. Doomsday is the first to break free and continues his path of destruction towards Metropolis. The entire time this is happening, by the way, Jimmy Olsen and Lois Lane are following the fight from a safe distance in a helicopter as this punch fest continues. And the Kents, Ma and Pa Kent, are back at home in Kansas watching all this shit go down on the news. So as they are as they're going, fighting through all this, we cut back to Supergirl, and she is finally given permission by clone Lex
okay.
to go help Superman. She joins the battle, but not for long. She takes exactly one punch and then turns into an alien? Question mark?
Yeah.
Supergirl?
She's the clone version of Supergirl. It's an early Supergirl. She's like ectoplasmic goo.
Yeah, and just very strange, very jarring. Takes exactly one punch, and it's like, ooh, and that's it.
Looks kind of like Silly Putty.
Right. Yeah.
With eyes.
She's kind of melty. It's very weird and purple. So as Superman and Doomsday are fighting, just more and more gas mains are rupturing, exploding. Like there's a huge gas main explosion that levels nearly all of Newtown, which I guess is either a suburb of or part of Metropolis. At this point, everybody's trying to get in on this fight. Underworlders are trying to take some swings. Some civilians are trying to shoot. Some people show up with shot cannons that they're firing at Doomsday, and that's not working.
That won't. They haven't learned that nothing. That's just.
No, they just. I mean, to be fair, at this point, this is happening so quickly that even though it's taken place from Ohio to New York, they're moving so quickly that nobody's really had a minute to sit down and watch the news about it. They don't quite know what's going on.
Sure,
and they're just trying to get in on it.
Okay.
And help out Superman. Superman does find time to get Lois and Jimmy in their helicopter out of the way by carrying it off, and he essentially kisses Lois goodbye basically before going to rejoin the fight again.
Okay.
Somehow Lois and Jimmy manage to. It's a very strange series of panels because he gets them out of the way, and then all of a sudden they're back in the way again.
Of course.
And Superman saves him again. So at this point, Superman's getting real tired. He's been tired since about halfway through the United States, but he's getting more and more tired. This guy is wearing him out, and he has no signs of stopping. He does figure out that so Doomsday's costume has kind of degraded at this point, and he's got these little bony protrusions coming off of him all over the place. Superman figures out that these are part of his skeleton, and by basically punching them or whatever, snapping them off, he can actually hurt Doomsday.
Okay.
So he's like, okay, this is this guy's weak point. But it's a little bit too late for that. At this point, the fight has escalated to the point where they are punching each other so hard it's like an earthquake.
Okay.
This goes on for a little bit until basically they both punch each other to death at the same time.
They both punch each other to death at the same time, in one punch.
Yes, double KO.
Yes, yeah, double KO.
Okay.
And that is the end of the Doomsday arc. It ends with the death of Superman.
With Lois holding his dead body and crying.
Yes.
Okay, so is he dead, or is it one of those situations where he's dead, but then I don't know, they get him back on his feet?
This is actually a fair question because I did read a little bit, but not all the way into the Funeral for a Friend arc, which comes right after this, and literally nobody can believe this has happened. Everybody is in complete denial that Superman could be dead. The other problem is too, of course, is that Superman is an alien, and so they are not 100% certain on how to perform, I guess, alien CPR or alien defibrillation or. Sure. That kind of thing. And they're not really sure if he could be dead because they don't know much about Kryptonian biology, which I think is actually pretty fair.
That's fair, but what if he's alive and they're just going to bury him?
Okay,
exactly.
So this is the teaser if we ever do the Reign of Superman and Resurrection, because I do have the answer to this, and it is that there is someone called the Eradicator, who is one of the 4 men that emerge out of this whole thing and claim to be the new Superman. There's Steel, the Cyborg Superman, Superboy, and the Eradicator. The Eradicator goes and steals Superman's body from his grave and takes him to the Fortress of Solitude, places it in the regeneration matrix. But Superman doesn't come back to his body. Meanwhile, Pa Kent has a heart attack and goes into a coma. Meets Superman in the afterlife and convinces him to come back to his body.
Cool.
Sick.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's it. That's the story. That's how Superman dies. This inexplicable creature from Ohio punches trucks and then punches Superman to death.
So it's fucking Ohio. I do have a little bit of a correction. The new
Yes.
Supergirl is not a clone. She's actually a different alien that is called Matrix. He's from an alternate reality where Zod and the other two escaped the Phantom Zone and tried to take over Earth. There was no Superman in this reality, and Lex Luthor hadn't turned evil, so he used an artificial life form called the protoplasmic matrix and formed Matrix. Then Matrix falls out of that reality and into the mainstream Earth and is taken in by mom and pop kids and raised as their new god.
Okay.
All right.
Is there anything like normal like about this arc? Like
no, not at all.
It was the best-selling graphic novel, still is the best-selling graphic novel of all time, and it single-handedly crashed the collectible comic market.
I did not know that.
Before this, people used to be like, "Oh yeah, like I collect comics, and someday they'll be worth money," and that was true until this. Because of the death of Superman and how many runs they did and how huge it was, and moving forward, just comic books are not worth what they used to be. Pretty much from this point, because everyone like that even had the slightest interest in comic books for money, comic book collecting for money, had a copy of Death that they locked away in a fucking vault.
Like, here's my thing though, like I am all about getting more people into the into the fandom and the hobby, but like at what cost is where I'm at. Like
Right.
It's not if you were to turn to me, if you were to come to me when I was like Tiny Toons Meredith with a little X-Men comic in her hands, and you're like, hey, you want to read Death of Superman, here's the synopsis, I would probably say, I don't know you, mister, and run, because I would never want to be around that.
Yep.
That's legit. That is completely legit.
There is nothing in this that is like even remotely my God, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I will say, as somebody that has done a podcast about comic books for the last 2 years,
holy crap,
there are good DC Superman and Justice League stories.
Sure.
This is just not one of them.
This is at the bottom. Yeah,
and
no,
I
of
would,
course.
I would in fact say that the reign of Superman that comes after this, where those aforementioned four kind of step forward and say, I am the new Superman, that's better. Like that, like you get Steel out of that, who's like a construction worker with a steel outfit. Like he's totally badass. Like he's very, he's one of DC's first, what I would call like a street level heroes. He's awesome. Superboy, the Superboy of the 90s is like the 90s distilled into a fucking teenage Superman, and he's awesome.
Totally radical.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Like, yes. And like there's the cyborg Superman, like half of his face is like Terminator style, and there's some cool stuff that comes out of this. Just this was not great.
Yeah, like I will say that as somebody who, again, I have a very passing familiarity with DC. Like I know a little bit about certain things, and there's a lot that I don't. And as somebody who doesn't know a ton, picking this up and reading this, like as not quite my introduction to Superman, but definitely my introduction to one of the more well-known arcs, this was very confusing. I had to go out into the living room and ask my housemates what the hell was going on no less than 30 times.
My favorite,
not easy to follow.
Yeah, my favorite thing is Leia's only done it once, where she's done her recon for the retcon at my house, and it's very fun to experience. But so just to summarize, so I can understand, Doomsday wears a garbage bag.
Yes.
emerges from the Earth TM.
Yeah.
Ohio
of all places. Hates trucks.
Very much so.
Fights his way through a ton of trucks. Superman shows up and he's like, "What up?" And then people are like, "It's okay, we'll shoot him," which doesn't work.
Right.
And then fucking Lois, and then Superman showed up because this kid just painted shit on a fucking street. Superman doesn't check his email. It's okay. The Wish.com Justice League is there, and fucking Supergirl is there, but not Supergirl, and Lex Luthor's there, but not really Lex Luthor, who has hair now, and is super
And they're
possessive,
banging.
and they're banging while this is going on, and then Supergirl fucking finally is allowed to go, turns into alien goop, and then Superman fights Doomsday, and he gets tie-tie, and then he dies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Is
That's it. That's the story.
Yep. And Lois is alone. She's thinking, why?
I really do love the panel where she just kicks Superman right in the ass. Like that's brilliant.
It's like, don't punch my friend. Don't punch homeless Charlie. Yeah.
She's like, you're gonna just, don't be with this homeless guy. And then just kicks him right in the ass. I was like, that's bold. She's sassy. I like her.
Right. Well, and Clark does go to check his email. We kind of glossed over that. The power to Metropolis is cut like right as he goes to read his email.
Yes, yeah.
So he had no way of reading it. Yes. Which probably would have been better for Lois to write him a note, but
No, we needed to display this new and upcoming technology of electronic messaging.
So the moral of the story is, don't wear garbage bags. Trucks are bad. Don't be in possessive relationships, and also make sure you nap before you go fight.
Yes.
Never have children, or don't let them be.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Fucking.
Also important.
That too.
Fucking kid.
Does he come back?
No, he just goes off to dirtbag hell. I assume he's probably like I have to assume that he probably ends up being a petty criminal, because there's really only one way that this kid could go in life.
In my world, Sweet Keith gets adopted by Harry and Alice White, and that kid just dies of a fucking heroin overdose right after Kurt Cobain dies.
So is the kid the metaphor for the trucks?
That's a good question. That is a good question.
So yes or no question?
I'm going to go ahead and say yes. I will say yes on this. I will say that as a metaphor.
New headcanon approved.
Great.
So some of the other stuff that I had notes on that I'm just going to pile on because I took notes on them, and so you know that, is at one point,
Please.
There are two characters named Turk and Maggie that start firing like big ass guns at Doomsday from the top of a building. That is a rare appearance of the Metropolis Special Crimes Unit, who are even who are even more worthless than Gotham PD. And there's another. At one point, Guardian has a dude like pop in his head, being like, "Hey, what's going on? I'm a telepath," and it looks like an alien. That guy's name is Double X, Dubbilex. He is also created by Cadmus, where they basically spliced human and alien DNA and called the race, get ready for this, DN Alien.
Yeah, so I omitted that in my write-up because I didn't know what the fuck that was at all. I genuinely thought that Turpin guy was just a random detective, like some grizzled old, noir-esque dude, because he kind of looks like it in the panels, right? Like he kind of has that like 1940s Private Dick look to him. And so I just assumed that he was like some 1940s Private Dick who was like, I'm going to shoot a gun. And then he's only on like one page.
Yeah, he looks kind of like DC's version of Dum Dum Dugan.
Yeah.
And it's mostly the person that's with him named Maggie. She actually has a long deep storyline that I was reading about. And eventually she transfers to Gotham PD. And it's like, what is wrong with all of them?
That poor woman.
Yeah.
Like, all right.
So, Meredith, did we do a really good job explaining this to you?
You did a good job of explaining something.
I did my best. I did my absolute best.
Listen, I'm not mad at either of you. I need to stress that.
I don't.
Disappointed?
The way that
I'm not disappointed. I'm unsurprised, to be honest. But I don't know. I thought maybe it wasn't going to be this bad. I thought that maybe you'd be like, oh yeah, like Superman dies in a really like weird way and it's never explained, and then I go on with my life. But no, now I have to think about a lot of things. And a lot of things are going to keep me up and awake at night. So you did a great job.
Awesome. Great. Welcome
Excellent.
to comics.
Yeah. I do not make the news. I just report it.
Yeah. This is a lot.
Yeah.
The omnibus on my e-reader is 1,400 some pages.
Yep. I have.
So that's why we didn't do the. That's why we didn't do the entire death and then fake Supermans and then Superman Resurrection, because we would be here for like all day.
Right, yeah.
Holy
Yeah.
crap, you guys! Like that's like unreal, and it's more so unreal that it's like a #1 seller.
Yeah, the
90s were a crazy time.
Did no one warn these people about it? Like, were they like, please don't pick this up? Like, you're gonna have a bad time? And they were like,
we didn't have the internet back then.
Oh
so we had no way of knowing that stuff was going to be just
right.
god awful when we were
forgot.
Like, yeah. Like in my day, we just went to the comic book shop or the local grocery store, because remember when comics were sold in like grocery stores, and we just picked up the new issue of whatever because we liked it. Like, all right, I love Superman, let's see what he's up to. And we didn't have a way to communicate with each other and be like, don't do it, man. So yeah, we just kind of had to suffer with everybody else.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, this is not the worst that we've read.
No, definitely isn't the worst.
Great. I think that's wonderful, and I am so sorry for the people you have to explain that to. Thank you for not putting me through that, because this was a lot. It was a lot.
Yes,
I mean, this didn't have nearly the amount of clone that it could
No,
have.
thank God. Although I was still very unhappy when I learned about Clone Lex.
yeah, Clone Lex.
Like, you can't just like copy and paste everybody, y'all. Like, that's just like not. You can't Control C, Control V that. Like, you can't. It's not the answer for everything.
The 90s also was a time where comics media in general was just fucking obsessed with clones.
Yeah, that's true.
And I don't think you could go too far. Like you couldn't get very far without coming across some kind of clone thing going on in any given publication. It was just a thing of the 90s. We had just learned about cloning then, and we were very excited about it as a people and a culture.
Okay.
Yeah. So that has been the death of Superman. Meredith, thank you so much for joining us and being.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much for having me. And I thank you is what I can say. It's kind of where I'm at.
Nope, I totally understand, and now I'm going to let you get back to your the rest of your Easter Sunday.
Just contemplating my life choices of why I don't wear garbage bags as fashion.
He's gonna bust through your door in a few minutes and be like, "He is risen."
Oh God.
Yeah, with you can take on the day with this weighing on your soul.
How do y'all do this every week? I'm sorry for interrupting, Josh. How do
every
you?
Other yeah.
How do you do it? Like, how do you? Oh my gosh!
Some of the ones we've done thus far, and I mean, this is only the 4th.
Yeah. Well, this is the 6th episode.
Oh my God, we've done more than 4. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, like, out of all of them, we've done a couple that were good, like that I enjoyed reading, to be sure, and then we've done a couple that were just universally panned by literally everybody who've ever set their eyeballs on them. So
House of M was good time.
Yes, definitely.
For as bad as it was, Sin's Past wasn't like, oh my God. Once you get past the fact that, Gwen Stacy
fucked her father, her friend's father.
Yes, Gwen fucked her friend's father. Once you get past that, not that bad.
That was a fun episode, though. That was good.
Yeah. Basically, we take our enjoyment from our guests, Meredith, in a lot of cases.
Yes.
Having next episode, we're going to do one more Hulk, and for that one, we're going to have my graphically novel co-host Bear and his brother Luke on as we explain the Hulk coming to Earth specifically to kill people. So that'll be a good time.
That's a choice.
I'm excited about that.
That's a choice.
And then that one's my assignment. The assignment after that, I do not envy Leia for having House of X, Powers of X, which is a great story, but it's very complicated. So
yeah.
I X-Men tend to be, really.
I may need to pull in some expert consulting on that, because I do I'm a little bit more familiar with the X-Men, so I'm not completely out of my league here, but I feel like I've never read either one of them, so I feel like this is going to be a experienced TM.
Right. Well, they're pretty much the same thing. I don't know why they did House of X, Powers of X is different, other than, from what I understand, House of X is the history that you're learning, and Powers of X is the real, current day implications of that history that you're learning.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So they, of course, did it in the most difficult fucking way possible.
Sure. Yeah, why not?
Yeah. And it is a true rep conversation, because it
boy,
a lot of X stuff. Yeah.
Oh, it'll be good. Looking forward to that.
Yep.
Oh, goodness. God,
all right, everyone.
all y'all.
Well, tune in next time, like I said, for World War Hulk. That'll be in 2 weeks. And we will see y'all then.